What loophole did you exploit before someone found out? When in high school, there was a company that offered money to run an advertising window at the top of your screen. It would monitor mouse movement to track whether you were at your computer and pay a small amount per hour. A buddy and I downloaded it and a mouse moving software and would run both 24/7, except when we were on the computer. Made a few $100s off of it before the company closed down. In Australia, 30 years ago, when it was about $30 per month to connect, there was a company that gave you free connection to the internet if you allowed them to show you ads as you browsed. Within 24 hours, someone released an ad blocker that shut the ads down, and it was used by nearly everyone, so the company went under and everyone lost free internet connection. I was on bulletin boards reading all the complaints from people that had lost their free internet while they also admitted to using the ad blocking software. My old apartment complex had a soda vending machine at the pool that was broken. If you put in 50 cents and pressed the button, nothing happened. If you put in another 50 cents and pressed the button, nothing happened. But if you put 50 cents in a third time and pressed the button, you'd get 3 sodas. I could see the vending machine from my couch. So I would watch for someone to try, and then try again, and then give up without trying a third time. And then I'd head over and get 3 sodas for 50 cents. Not me, but my roommate in college. Whenever you paid for anything on the university's website, you'd earn college bucks. Each year's tuition paid for something small like a beer koozie, fold-up lawn chair, or if you somehow spent an absurd amount, an official school-branded kayak. Well, my buddy found out that the points were added to your account before payment went through on the website. So he just refreshed the page over and over and got millions of points. I only found out his scheme when I came home to an entire living room filled with boxes from our school. There were shirts, coolers, chairs, cups, and of course the kayak. We opened all of it, like idiots, and had a giant laugh at the school's expense. All of the guys living in that house were having a great time until we opened the smallest box, which had $1,100 Visa gift cards. Then we got scared. A bunch of school-branded CAP from a warehouse was probably unusual, but not something that would bother the person loading all that up for delivery. The gift cards, though? That was where he got caught. The gift card issuer called the school to verify such a large amount before activating the cards, and that raised a lot of red flags in the accounting department. They traced it all back to my roommate and came and took everything back. They left the open items and the worthless gift cards, and suspended him during his final semester of college. He had to write an apology letter and do community service for the school for that whole semester in return for not pressing charges for fraud. It makes for a great story though, and we had a ton of beer koozies and gift cards that we threw at each other like ninja stars. For a while, you could buy $1 coins from the US Treasury using credit cards. They would ship them to you for free. If you had a rewards credit card, let's say an airline one, you could buy thousands of dollars of coins. Go to a bank, deposit them, and then pay your credit card back. It was a good way to get a ton of points for flying without ever paying for anything. They stopped doing this. A friend allegedly did something similar to this, but with a store that had points, a credit card that gave 5% back at specific stores. After a specific number of points, you could get a $100 gift card. This store also has a very liberal return policy. You would spend $10,000 a month at this store on the 5% cashback credit card, accumulate points, then return the merchandise all over the city/county and claim he lost the receipt. They would give him cash, he'd pay the credit card bill off and still get the $500 in CC cash back, plus get a few hundred in gift cards to the store. It was a full-time damn job though. The jig was up once they changed their return policy, but went on for a solid 18 months. He was paying most of his bills, cell phone, electric, etc., with CC cashback rewards. When I was in middle school, Pepsi did a thing where if you bought a 20-ounce soda, there was a decent chance the cap would say you were a winner on the inside, and you could exchange it for another 20 ounces. Problem is, a dark-colored soda like Pepsi is reflective. Hold the bottle slightly tilted and you could look at the reflection of the inside of the cap. For a whole school year, I didn't pay for soda. Bought a winner, and every day I'd exchange the cap at a gas station I passed on the way home for another winner. Eventually Pepsi caught on, and instead of it saying you won on the cap itself, there would be a code you had to enter online. We didn't have the internet in our pocket in those days, and it wouldn't have been worth it to read and enter multiple backwards codes for a soda if we had, so this ended the scheme. Buffalo Wild Wings used to have a check-in thing. Check in enough times and you get a free meal. The office I worked in was close enough, geographically, that I could check in from there without physically going to the restaurant. A bunch of coworkers and I had an alarm to check in every day, and then once we all had the free meal, we'd go there for lunch. I got probably 4 or 5 free meals out of it before BWW revamped that system. I was very motivated to get one of those MP3 players and figured out that cafeteria and the weightlifting room at my school's gym were great places to get unregistered caps from the recycling. I was on track to hit my goal, and then I had an appendicitis. That took me out for a month and I missed the deadline and had to settle for a Siappy keychain flashlight instead. So what I'm saying is I'm very jealous of you, haha. Reminds me of a high school classmate who worked at Subway. It was in the times of the plastic swipe cards for rewards points. When a customer doesn't have a card, you're supposed to offer them one, but this guy would instead swipe his card when ringing people up and rack up points. He was smart enough to spend them at a different Subway though. Unlike another friend who got fired from a smaller chain burrito place when he came in on his day off with 5 full punch cards with his friends, to get free burritos. Taco Bell had a $5 box deal to win a PS4 before it was released to the public. I found that towards the end of the promotion you could enter to win without purchasing a $5 box. You could only enter once per phone number and address. Also, the rewards were time-based. Every 15 minutes someone would win. I woke up every night at 3:16 a.m. and entered 4 times, using my home, work, and my mother-in-law's home and work numbers and addresses. After about a week I was about to stop and I won. I had a PS4 3 days before the public could even buy them. The next year I did the same thing and won a second PS4 for the kids' game room. After that they changed the rules slightly to make it much harder to game the system. I used to work for Sears as a teen. When someone came in without the rewards program, I would just put my own info in. That way my sales percentage for rewards members didn't drop, and I got all of their points. The amount of coupons and free money was insane, especially when I was working back in the tools department. I didn't stop until they started upgrading their ancient point-of-sale system. I also had an employee discount of 20% on soft lines, clothes, home, etc., and 10% on hard lines, tools, which they didn't take away for a few years after I quit. I had to report what percentage each register in my store was at every hour to my DM when I managed a Sears store. Once this level of micromanagement was coming down the line, the vast majority of the staff were doing exactly this. We were all acutely aware at the store level. I was there 2011 to 2016 and got to watch that store get the axe in real time. When it took gaining enough dollars back on inventory day to actually have the store's ledger in the black by any degree in 2016, I noped out and it was closed within 6 months. The things they were trying to do to keep customers was insane. All they had to do was adapt, quit making employees spam every person they saw for an email or a credit card app, and just continue using their massive infrastructure to deliver quality goods. Work allowed us to skip breaks and bank them, but the contract language basically made it so you could bank both 15-minute breaks each day, as well as bank your lunch if you never technically clocked out. So I'd just eat while driving from job to job, and bank an hour a day. Was able to use all that time after a while to take an entire month off of work, paid, without even using any of my assigned PTO. HR got PSSY about it and tried to rake me over the coals when I got back, but I pointed out the contract language and they realized their hands were tied. They pushed out a new contract to fix this exploit, but my work contract was still good for another year, so I declined and kept banking time, taking time off when I wanted. Of course they didn't offer me a new contract once mine was up, but I had a better paying job closer to home lined up already anyway, and took the last 2 months off, paid, while I started my new job, so I was basically getting 2 salaries.